Okay, we finally caved and it's here. The RG351P has made it safely into my hands. Hi, my name is Amy Vishwanatha and you are watching Techie Housewife. I have heard this called the best retro handheld device by a few people, even over the RG351V, at least from a price to performance standpoint. But these days, the RG351V is available a bit cheaper than it used to be. Now, I just want to remind you that Anbernic has some of the highest quality retro handheld devices available, especially the RG351V and M. And I must say that each of them have something special about them that makes them so appealing. So let's go. I want to get right to it. Okay, here is the box. We have the model number on the front, of course. As usual, it displays what the device looks like. It shows us what we have here for specs. Of course, it has that RK3326 quad-core chip, 1.5 gigahertz. It's a 3.5-inch screen, and supposedly the battery life will last for 8 hours. And we do have the diagram on the box that shows what each button is for. And also as well, I got the white one here. It contains the console, the charging cable, and the user manual. This did not come taped up or anything. It was pretty much open, so. And I have a confession to make. I did see this out of the box. My husband actually accidentally opened it in front of me, so I have already seen what it does look like. As for holding it in my hands and feeling everything, well, that's something different. As you see, manual and charging cable. Okay, let's get this open because I do want to hold this. And one thing I really do like here is how they have packaged this. That is a great protection. I wish more of the companies would actually do this for their devices. You know you're definitely not going to have a broken device when you get it. And here it is. And I must say just that it feels like a great quality device so far, and that's just barely touching it. And this is the plastic one, actually. This is not the metal one. And I think I'm going to be happy with this, actually. It does have a nice texture that feels kind of preventative in having it slip out of your hands. Plus, you have these additional rubberized little rectangles here that will definitely make sure that if your hand's wrapped around it and your fingers are on it, like so, it's not going to fall out of your hand unless you actually let go. The D-pad seems good. I'm just doing my initial feel of the buttons, and they are not jiggly. Okay, so let's take a look here. We have our left and right shoulder buttons or triggers. These feel a little stiffer than these. These feel a little bit loose. We have our USB-C slots and our headphone jack. Again, it's in the top. I don't understand why they do that in the top, but I guess it's not that huge of a deal. And on the bottom, we have the reset button and the slot for our SD card and our two speakers, which seeing two speakers always makes me feel hopeful. And sometimes I end up disappointed, but I don't think I'll be disappointed in this device from what I hear anyway. We have the volume on the side and the power button on this side. Let me just give that a power. It's running Emulec, as you can see. The D-pad feels good. It has a little bit of a bounce back to it, which is nice. It's not super stiff or anything like that. These buttons, as you click in, that is pretty stiff. And these buttons, once I play, I will get more of an idea as usual. If I press too many buttons, it goes somewhere else. The screen, from what I am seeing right here, if you can have a look at that, it's quite beautiful. It seems super, super vibrant. The colors are vivid and they really pop. It's definitely nowhere near being washed out. It's super crisp, very contrasty. And I think this is what you want to see anytime you turn on a device. It is beautiful, very nice. So let's just take a look at some of the viewing angles here. To me, me, the viewing angles are pretty good. I feel that I could see it from every angle where I tilted it, and that's pretty awesome. This seems like it's pretty snappy just from how I'm using it now. The button is pretty responsive for the menu. We'll see how that is in the game. Okay, let's just fire up one of these games then, shall we? And honestly, I'm kind of mesmerized with the screen. I just can't believe how smooth it displays everything. Just give you an example here. Look at that. I'm quite impressed.
Many minutes later.
As you can see, I have actually installed 351 LX. I did that because I was trying to give you the out-of-box experience with the stock firmware, which it is nice, but the button mapping was not configured properly, so I really didn't have time to go through and set everything the way it needs to be set. So I went ahead and put this in so we can also get a feel of what this is like as well. So here we go. Let's start out with NES. The screen brightness is actually already at 100%. I forget the button setup is a little different on here. And as you can see, it plays pretty smooth here. I like the feel of the buttons. The buttons, they feel really good. They're nice, solid buttons. The quality of these buttons are so good. They do move a little, but they have a good bounce back. Same with the D-pad. They're close to being perfect, I would say. Now, I wasn't sure how impressed I would be with the feel of everything on here, but I am pretty impressed. I will say that I think the buttons are a decent size, and I feel that they are spaced out properly. My fingers fit really good on them. Though they may protrude a bit, they are in no way jiggly or mushy. There's no problem when I go back and forth, like, you know how you roll your finger. I know everything's going crazy, but when you roll your finger back and forth to play games, it does what it's supposed to. Like any other RK3226 device, this will emulate up to PS1 very well. But I'm not sure how it's going to work with N64 or Dreamcast, those types of games. Normally they don't perform well with this chip. Some play okay, but you get varying results sometimes. I will say one thing is it seems like the games load a little slower than some of the other devices I've had. I'm not sure the reasoning for that. Let's sing Prince Ali. Do, 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 do. Wow, this plays way better than some of the other devices that I've played on. What a difference. No, I hit the wrong button. So this rubber thing on the back really does hold your fingers in place back there. You keep a good grip on it. I like that. I was pretty sure I wasn't going to say this, but this thing plays excellent. I mean, the games play exactly how, at least so far, the two I've played, how they're supposed to play. The volume on this is pretty great. It's very loud. It's clear, not muffled. The sound seems pretty sharp. It seems to have better speakers than a few of them that I've recently played with. Let's see how N64 fares on the RG351P.
It's me, Mario. Hello.
Dear Mario, please come to the castle. I am Yours truly.
Let's just listen to see how the audio is here. This is playing really well. It's not overly sluggish. I'm really surprised. Usually the audio is extremely distorted right now. And then the game is extremely slow to load. So from what I see right now, I'm thinking this is going to play decent on here for an N64 game. Let's get him running here. He started running right away. Check out how snappy that was. Am I really playing an N64 game? I mean, even take a look at the frame rate. This is awesome. Oops, I just went back outside. Wow. This is super responsive. And you hear the audio, right? Let's see how it plays with Dreamcast. Sega. I'll play with both the D-stick. Well, I don't know if I can play with both. But...
Attention all units. Suspect seen heading south. Block all major roads and capture the
Now,
suspect.
it is crackling a little bit, breaking up a little bit with the sound. And I'm not able to control him as well. It's barely functioning going down. So I think we have an idea. It's not going to work well. So far, even with Dreamcast and N64, it's looked great. Okay, I'm playing with this. Let me see if I can play with the... I just want to try both of them out. Oh, the thumbstick and the D-pad, so I can get an idea of how well it works with these. And as you see, aside from my being a little off playing, it played really well. This is the last game I'm going to play. I think we have a really good grasp on how awesome this device is. I am way more impressed than I thought I would be. I should have known because the 351V is really good as well. So as usual, the first question, do I recommend this? Yes, 100% I do recommend this. This is probably one of the absolute best devices that I've actually put my hands on in recent times. The display is awesome. It's contrasty, vibrant. The hues are beautiful on this. This actually played Mario 64 with hardly any problems whatsoever, compared to a number of other devices I've tried and failed at playing, or else it took forever for anything to load, or you couldn't hear the audio very well and it would hardly move. This is excellent compared to those. I'm actually really surprised. And so the buttons are perfect almost. The D-pad is great. The thumbsticks are pretty awesome too. I like the R1 and L1 triggers. I'm not so fond of the L2 and R2, but who really cares about those? Anyway, not me. This is a nice, super light handheld that you can actually put in your pocket, shove in your purse, whatever you want. You could take it anywhere with you probably. And the way it works is amazing. I totally was not expecting this. Seriously, honestly, I thought it was just hyped up to be this great thing, and it actually is this great thing. The buttons are spaced out decently. The buttons actually feel good when you're playing the game, when your thumb is actually on it. There's a really good bounce back, and at least my thumb fits perfectly on each of these buttons. The D-pad isn't loose, it has a great tension. Actually, the buttons are not jiggly. I don't know what else to say. Go out and buy one. Is it worth $90? Definitely. And it is probably the best value out of the 351 series, I do think. Also, keep in mind it doesn't have Wi-Fi, but I don't think that's such a huge deal. I have a feeling this is in my top 3. As far as out of the box experience, it did come fully loaded with a number of games, which I do like that. That was great. The ease of use out of box, maybe not so much, at least for someone like me. That is why in between I switched to the 351 ELEC, because the button mapping wasn't exactly where I needed it to be. So the 351 ELEC had everything I needed set up properly, and it was much easier after that to actually finish my recording. And honestly, if I was going to tell you to get one of the RG351 series, I might tell you, even though I absolutely love the V because it's gorgeous, I would probably say if this is something you just want to take everywhere with you and play, definitely get the P. This would probably be my first recommendation. If you wanted to actually just keep it at home and play and enjoy the aesthetics as well, I would say go for the V. That is all I have for today. Thank you for watching. If you could share this video with your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, make sure you have a game-tastic day.